if you feel like you are the only one that has applied to dozens of jobs and are getting absolute silence back, or maybe sprinkle in some rejections to go with that silence, you are not alone. This is not a judgment of your entire career. If you're job searching right now, you're in the right place. Welcome to Land Your Next Job, the show that helps you move from ghosting and rejection to interviews and offers. I'm Erica Parker Price, a certified career coach with a background in tech who has spent nearly a decade helping professionals land roles at companies like Microsoft, Google, and mission-driven organizations. Each week, I share what's actually working in today's job market, from LinkedIn and networking to how AI is reshaping hiring. You'll get clear strategies and inspiration so you can run this marathon without burnout or guesswork. Follow the show and let's land your next job together. Hi, and welcome to a new episode of Land Your Next Job. Today, we are talking about the most common thing I hear from people that are out there looking for jobs right now, and that is specifically, I'm not getting any interviews. And it usually goes something like this. I have applied to, and then fill in the blank. It might be 50 jobs. It might be 100 jobs. It might be more than that, quite honestly. I've applied to 100 jobs and I'm not getting any interviews. And then it's typically followed by the exact same question. What am I doing wrong? Okay, so we're going to break that down this week, and I promise we will not leave it at the question phase. I am absolutely going to give you some answers. But the first thing I want to do is I want to normalize it for people. This is absolutely happening to people out there. So if you feel like you are the only one that has applied to dozens of jobs and are getting absolute silence back, or maybe sprinkle in some rejections to go with that silence, you are not alone. This is not a judgment of your entire career. It's not a judgment of necessarily what's on your resume. It might be something that needs to be changed. There might be adjustments to make there. But this is very common right now. One of the things that you might be thinking is it's just the market. It's a really hard market. 2026 is a tough market. And I'm not going to lie, that is absolutely true. From a numbers perspective, there are absolutely more job seekers out there compared to the jobs. If you were to go back and look 2 or 3 years ago, the numbers would have been more in favor of the job seeker. So just like real estate, how there's a buyer's and a seller's market, sure, market absolutely has influence here. But what I will tell you is that my clients are still getting jobs. People are getting job offers out there. Companies are hiring. Interviews are happening. So it's not that there's zero happening out there. If you're not getting any interviews, then it bears looking at what is it that you could change? So in this episode, I'm sharing the exact 5-step career reset roadmap. These are 5 steps that I walk my clients through, and I'm going to help you pinpoint exactly where your search is breaking down and what you can fix this week. Okay? You're not going to fix all of them this week, but when you're listening to this, what is the one that would make the most difference for you? Where is it that you're really having issues? Okay, so let's jump into these 5 steps. I'm going to give them to you in summary here at the beginning, and then we're going to dive in and apply it specifically to the interview piece here. So the first step is focus. And this is really all about your energy that you're showing up with. Now, I know most people want to start a job search with resumes and LinkedIn, or maybe figuring out what they should be tailoring their resume to. But I actually start earlier than that. And the reason that I do is that your brain is the most powerful tool that you have in this search. Okay, you need your mind to be in the right place. And that's what I'm talking about with focus. It is, where is your head at right now? And how is your energy level? What kind of energy are you showing up for in the job search? We'll get into that in more detail, but let's go to step 2 right now. Step 2 in this 5-step roadmap is clarify. So this is all about identifying the right role and the right direction. It's about narrowing down target roles, companies, so that you're super clear on what it is that's next for you. It used to be that the more applications you sent in would equate to more interviews. it's really not turning out that way right now. And so it's really important, particularly if we look at the last step, focus, and you only have a limited amount of energy. It's really important that you clarify which direction you want to point that. Number 3 is position. So this is how you position yourself so that prospective employers quickly understand what your value is. This is all about having a polished resume and a sparkling LinkedIn profile so that you can show people exactly what it is you offer. That's going to be what people see when they're looking at it. That's step number 3, but step number 4 is even more important, and that's activate. 80% of all jobs come through a connection. That's right, 80%. So those of you that are sitting at home and just hitting that easy apply button or combing all the job boards out there and applying, that is not what results in most job offers. So 80% come through connections, and what you need for that is a sustainable networking and outreach strategy, and one that's designed for you, right? I work with people that are extroverts and introverts. I work with people that love networking and absolutely hate it. I work with people that think LinkedIn is the most cringe place there is. So I get it. Not everybody attacks this in the exact same way, but it's important that you have your own outreach strategy so that you can be in that 80% of jobs that are coming through a connection. The final piece to this 5-step framework is navigate. So this is when you're actually getting the interviews. You know how hard it is to get those interviews, so you want to show up for those interviews fully confident and able to articulate your story. Even beyond that, when you get to the offer phase, which may feel distant right now, but I assure you it's out there in your future, that's so that you can make decisions from a place of calm confidence. So those are the 5 steps in my career reset roadmap. I'll go through them again. Focus, clarify, position, activate, navigate. Now we're going to dive in, and I'm going to talk about each of these specifically from an interview perspective. So if I'm talking to somebody who's not getting any interviews right now, I want to break it down and I want to figure out which of these 5 phases do you most need to change. Step 1 in this career reset roadmap is focus. And this is all about how you are showing up, how your mind and your energy are aligned as you step into the job search. And I want you to really take a moment, just take a moment right now to really just feel inside yourself, like, how do you feel about the job search? If I asked you to give me 3 words to describe how you're feeling right now, what are those words? You can say them out loud. You can write them down. You can send them to me if you want. You can come find me on LinkedIn. Send me your 3 words. But I really want you to pause and think about it. That is the way that you are showing up for that search. Even if you think that you're hiding, that you're stressed out, that you're angry, that you feel that this is an unfair process, any of those negative emotions that are showing up for you, they're actually going to show up in how you're applying. They're going to show up in how you're sending emails. They're going to show up in how you're connecting with people. Now, that also isn't something that you can change instantly, right? If you have a negative feeling towards the job search, what I want you to do first of all is just think, am I ready to be doing this job search right now? If I have just been thrust into this place, do I need to take a little time off before I start my search? If I've been doing it for a long time, do I need to give myself a vacation? Do I need to actually give myself a 1-week break so that I can reset my mind? Do I need to go out and do something physical so that I can actually show up for this? So all of the habits that you've built in the past, they're going to be even more important right now. And I mean things like going to the gym, eating well, sleeping well. All of those things are going to impact this, right? So we can't change the circumstances. We can't change how it is that we landed here, but you can absolutely change how it is that you show up. So think, am I ready to be doing this right now? And for those of you that are thinking, you know what? I have to do this right now. I have to be getting a job. I understand that, but also, would it be better to take whatever amount of time you're able to give yourself to support getting into the right headspace before you do it? Just something to think about. Also think about your energy. What's your best time of day? When we start out in a job search or when we've been doing it for a long time, there seems to be this assumption that because we don't have a job we have to go to, because our calendar isn't booked with meetings all day, that we should be able to do this all day. I'm the first person that's going to tell you, you can't job search for 8 hours a day for a sustained period of time. One of the reasons for that is you're getting so little feedback, right? It's not like you're doing the project and then you get to see it get to completion. You're doing something, you're sending it out there, you're sending emails, you're making phone calls. And a lot of times, even when you're getting a positive response, there's a big delay in that. So think about, how much time can I give to this and what's my best time of day? Do I want to start out in the morning and put a couple hours in, take a break, and then come back to it in the afternoon? Do I have other responsibilities that I need to be taking care of in the morning? And this is something I'm going to be doing in the evening, particularly for people that are currently working. That's going to be super important too. If you are spending all your day in a job that you either are planning to leave or are concerned maybe putting you on the job market sooner than you want to be, when is the best time for you? Is it evenings? Is it weekends? Is it your lunch hour? Is it getting up early in the morning? All of this is having a plan for how you're going to get that mindset and energy all aligned so that you can truly focus on what you need to. I also want to make sure that everybody here has the support that they need, because all of your issues come up during the job search. Our top 5 negative emotions as humans are anger, sadness, fear, hurt, and guilt. And I'd be willing to bet that one of those has come up for you already. There's a reason that imposter syndrome shows up most commonly in times of transition. Your brain is giving you all of these messages right now about why this is happening, all of those things. It's also the reason that I created my Career Reset group, because so many of my clients felt that they were the only ones experiencing these issues. And I would tell them that's not true. Whether it is people that aren't getting interviews or people that just feel that they are not in the right headspace to do this. So my recommendation to you is think about the timing. Is now the right time to do this? What time of day should I be doing it? And think about your best practices. What has served you best in the past? Whether that is mindfulness or physical activity or just really taking care of yourself. What is the best way you can take care of yourself so you can get the focus that you need? Okay, so the second step in this 5-step roadmap is clarify. This one is all about ensuring that you know what direction you're pointing. What is it that you're going for? Are you clear on your target roles? Do you know the title, the level, the industry, the location? And obviously there may be more than one, right? You may be looking in a couple of different directions, which makes sense. But in particular, I want you to know what it is so that when you're looking at job postings, you have a very clear idea as to whether that's something that you're looking for or not. It's also very important that you do the work before you get to the networking stage so that you can tell other people what kind of help you need. These are the types of companies I'm interested in, whether it's their company or maybe you're hoping to get a connection to someone else. But it is your job to go ahead and clarify what it is you're looking. And that may take some research. I'm not saying this is something that you can go figure out in a day. It may take spending time looking to see what roles are currently out there. It might take time researching companies. Maybe even just start with the competitors of your previous company and see what it is that they're doing out there, because things are changing really fast. The importance of this step is really getting laser focused on what your target is so that every move you make is aligned. And you'll notice this comes before you do your resume and your LinkedIn. If you don't know what it is you're looking for, you don't know how to be structuring those documents. Now is a good time to transition into talking about that one. The third step in the Career Reset Roadmap is position. This comes after you've clarified what it is that you're looking for, and it's presenting yourself in your resume and your LinkedIn, as well as your personal stories, as the person who fits those roles that you're looking for. Now, I'm not going to say that your resume and your LinkedIn, that people are poring over those and reading through paragraphs that you've written. It's a really quick glance that people get. So being laser focused in how you show that. That means the headline, both in your resume and your LinkedIn, has to be really clear in telling people not just what you've done, but also what it is that you want to do in your next step. So you want to be answering the questions. What do you do for whom? And most importantly, what results have you created in the past? So when companies are looking at you, you want them to be envisioning that level of impact you've had at previous companies and previous jobs is what you're going to bring to their company. I'm not going to go into all the details of resumes and LinkedIn like I do in my group, but I'm going to give you a couple key things here. First of all, this is one that comes to me because I know so many people are using ChatGPT and other AI tools right now, which I am absolutely not opposed to. I think there are great uses for it, but don't make your resume read like the job description. So many people are working to get their resume looking exactly like the job description, so they're a perfect match, that they're coming out looking really boring. And I say that with all honesty because job descriptions in general, they aren't always written very well. A very good resume tells a unique and specific story about a person and what they've done. I say specific because that's where the details really matter. We don't want to hear that you have a proven track record of doing something. I want you to demonstrate it. I want you to tell me how many millions of dollars that created or how much time you shaved off of this process. Whatever it is, I want you to be specific. The reason that people are trying to match the job description is because of applicant tracking systems and keywords. It's definitely worth learning about those. Applicant tracking systems are just the tools that companies use. About 2/3 of companies right now are using those systems to process the resumes as they come in. And they are looking for you to be a match with the job description, but that doesn't mean that you need to go redo your resume every time you do it. The fact is that if you're going to be customizing every single time, it can be very time consuming. Now, I will say there are AI tools out there that are getting better and better at helping you do that in an efficient way, but that's really where my issue with the customization comes down to is how long it's taking people, because I do know that that can be a major time sink. But the key here with position is that you want to show up in a way that you are appearing to somebody at a company as the type of person that they're looking for. The key here with position is once you've figured out what it is you're going for in the general nature, in the direction, you want to be able to demonstrate that in your documents, on your LinkedIn, in your resume. And here's one thing to try. I would have someone that you trust take a look at your LinkedIn and or your resume and ask them, what roles do you think I'm going for? If they can't tell you the answer to that question, a recruiter is not going to be able to answer it either. So you need to make sure that you're the one doing the work. I know it feels like a lot that is put on your side, but doing that work is going to be what's getting you to that next level with an interview. Step 4 is activate, and I honestly think this is the one that is lacking for most people. So I think focus, our first one, getting your head in the right place, is the most important. I think 2 and 3, clarify and position, I think people do a decent job at that. Number 4, activate, is all about the outreach. So it is not about how many applications you are doing, because that is the number that I hear everybody tell me. How many applications they did this week in total, how many hundreds, how many dozens, that's the number everybody's tracking. And maybe the rejections or the ghosting that goes with that. But what I really ask people to track in my Career Reset program is how much outreach they're doing. So how many connections did you make this week? How many new connections did you make? How many people did you have a virtual coffee with? Because that is where that 80% of all jobs comes through. And when I say that number, what I mean is if you look at all the job offers that were made, 80% of those did not come through just a standard application process. Yes, they applied through it, but also somebody went to either a recruiter or a hiring manager, most likely the hiring manager, and said, hey, can you take a look at this person? I used to work with them somewhere else. This person would be really good at this job. Getting not just a referral in the HR system, not just one person who clicked a button and said, I recommend them, but an actual outreach to the particular person that's hiring for the position. That's what you're looking for. And so this is where your existing network is going to be absolutely critical. If you don't have a network, it's definitely time to start building one, and you can start doing that on LinkedIn. It's one of the things that you can definitely do. But I would absolutely encourage people to rely on the network they have. Now, that could be people that you used to work with. It could be people you went to college with. It could even be friends and family. You never know who in your even personal network knows people at perhaps the company that you're trying to get to. So my recommendation for you, if this is the one you're going to focus on, is that for every role you apply for this week, I want you to look and see, are there people that I know at that company? If there's nobody I know at the company, are there second degree connections? And LinkedIn will tell you that, who might know somebody at that company. So what you're looking to do is to get the warmest introduction to somebody at that company. If you don't know anybody, you can also send cold connections. You can absolutely send a connection request to somebody that's at that company. I would do it as close as possible to what you're applying for. And you can always ask if they'd be willing to spend a short amount of time with you. So you can ask a couple questions about their experience there. You can tell them what job you're applying for. And you do have to realize you're going to get less than half of the people that are going to respond to this. And what are the reasons behind that? I mean, one of them is just that people are busy, right? People might not think they have anything worthy to say to you. So don't take it as a judgment. It is you expanding your network. They may just accept your connection request, and that improves your overall network, right? Every person you connect to, you're now second degree connections with all of their people. So like I said, Activate is where I think most searches fall down. It is easy to feel good about the job applications that you're doing, but I want you to take a really hard look at how many applications you've done and whether or not those are going anywhere. If you're the person that is applying and nothing is happening, maybe this week is the week that you decide you want to try something different. And that's why I said in my Career Reset program, that's what we talk about, is how many connections are you making? What do you intend to do in the week ahead? And how can you align that? I have a whole strategy based around it. It's my dual pipeline strategy, where you're not only just applying to jobs, but at the exact same time, you're networking so that you have people to support those applications within their company. So like I said, that one's super important. Okay, step number 5 is navigate. And this is really when you get to the interview process. So this is a little bit after what we're really talking about on this podcast, which is, hey, I can't get any interviews. But I think it's worth looking ahead. And I know some of you are already in this step. So you know how hard it is to book interviews right now, right? To get to that point where somebody's asking you to come for that interview. So what you want to ensure is that you're showing up super prepared for those interviews and that you can just navigate that process with confidence. I'm going to give you 4 questions to prepare for, and this is going to vary widely depending upon your level, depending upon your job role, your industry, but I'll give you 4 general ones that might apply to most of you. The first one is, tell me about yourself. People tell me that they absolutely hate this question, but I can tell you it is how most interviews start. So fall in love with that question, fall in love with your answer for it, right? You want to be able to answer that question with a smile right when you start off an interview. So know you're going to get it and be comfortable in that answer. The second one is hero stories. So I work with my clients to develop hero stories that show what it is you've actually done. As an example, let's think of Harry Potter in the Harry Potter series, which some of you may or may not have either read or watched the movies. But think about whatever your favorite adventure series is, that main character always has a challenge, right? And this aligns very well with what probably most of you prepare for, which is the STAR question, where you have the situation, task, action, and result. But think of yourself as the hero. What was the challenge you were facing? What did you do to overcome that challenge? And then what were the, setbacks you faced along the way? How did you resolve them? And then what was the result at the end? So like I said, they're very closely aligned with the situation, task, action, result. But make sure you're the hero of the story. That is what people are looking for when you're in that interview. What is it that this person can do, and how can they come do that at my company? The third, I'm just going to say this generally, technical and or company specific questions. So depending upon what job you're interviewing for, there may be all kinds of technical background that you need to prepare for. And that's not the purpose of this episode to talk to it. I'll just say, no, that's coming. And then company specific questions. You'd be amazed at how much information is online about the types of questions that are asked at specific companies. And then number 4, you're always going to be asked if you have questions. So be prepared with some intelligent questions at the end. One of my favorite ones is, what are the biggest challenges that you're facing in, and pick whatever time frame makes sense. Like it might be in the year ahead. It might be in the next quarter if you're interviewing for something that is changing as rapidly as everything else is. But what are the biggest challenges you see ahead? It's always a good question to have in there. Most importantly, do your research. There has never been a better time to know exactly what's going on at the company that you're interviewing at. It will definitely be easier if it's a big company. If it's a smaller company, that can be hard. Prepare on the individual people too. A lot of times you may find that the person you're interviewing with has done a podcast interview. Go listen to it. See what they post on LinkedIn. Make sure you know who are the people and what are their roles that you're interviewing with. And then of course, practice. You don't want to be rehearsed. You don't want to be memorized, but you want to absolutely have comfort with everything it is that you're saying. Okay, so that was step 5 in this 5-step roadmap. If you're not getting interviews right now, it is almost always a breakdown in one or more of these areas. So number 1 was focus. Number 2, clarify. Number 3, position. Number 4, activate. Number 5, navigate. And if you're really serious about getting different results from your search, I just want you to choose one area that you're going to work on this week. I gave you examples in each of those areas where there's something that you could focus on. Figure out what it is and have that honest conversation with yourself about what is it that I'm not mastering right now? What could I go change so that I actually will be getting interviews? It may be some simple thing that you just need to dial in. Maybe you need to be the one doing the homework instead of asking people in your network like, hey, do you see anything out there for me? Go find that before you go talk to that person. It could be as simple as that. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking, wow, this is a lot, these 5 steps, I don't want to figure this all out alone. This is exactly what we do inside my Career Reset program. We walk through all of this together so that you're focused, positioned, actually getting interviews in today's market. You can always get started at ericaparkerprice.com. I don't have set cohort start dates. And the reason for that is I know that everybody is always coming into this on their own timeline. So I try to just meet people where they are and whatever timeline they're on. There's a quick set of questions so you and I can both understand where you are and how ready you are to take that next step. And if you just want to stay in touch, connect with me on LinkedIn. I will always accept your LinkedIn connection request, whether you put a note with it or not. I'm Erica Parker Price. That's Erica with a K. Send me a DM. Send me your biggest job search question. You never know. I may just answer it on the podcast, but I always respond to the messages that I get there. Have a great week and know that I am always rooting for you. That's a wrap for this week on Land Your Next Job. If this episode helped, please leave a quick review and subscribe wherever you listen. Share it with a friend in transition, and I'll see you next Monday. Let's land your next job together.